I could hear a voice, at first barely audible. I wasn't even sure if it was real. Perhaps I was imagining. But then it began to whisper louder. Louder and louder till eventually it was all I could hear. Screaming full on, over and over and over again, until I thought I could take no more. And then a blast of light appeared, blinding my entire field of vision. At this very moment, I knew I would not be returning.
The wife of the late Mr. Finkel reported him missing on Tuesday. She stated that he left their beachfront property highly intoxicated after a quarrel. Apparently, this was a common occurrence. The story was corroborated by two neighbors of the Finkels, who reported hearing the couple argue and saw Mr. Finkel leave the dock at approximately 6 p.m. on Monday evening. We pulled the body from the water 3 days later, about 20 miles from shore. It was floating near their yacht. The remains were bloated and in the early stages of decomposition, but we were able to identify him through dental records. The coroner's report showed high levels of alcohol and cocaine in his system.
we know what happened to Stella?
No, we do not. After Alex died, she had the funeral arranged, then just disappeared. No one has seen or heard from her since. So strange.
That is so strange. I feel weird saying this. I hate to say this, but if Alex's death wasn't ruled accidental, the detectives may be wanting to contact Stella.
I know. Alex did not treat her very well.
Alex didn't treat anyone very well. I know it is not proper to speak poorly of the deceased, but I doubt anyone is sorry to see him gone.
I wonder who will be replacing him at the law firm. If Alex had any good qualities at all, it would be his ability to keep things confidential, especially when it came to working with foreign and private contractors.
I doubt even those blood-sucking vampires will miss him.
Wake up! Wake up! Cold, crisp, white, and still. I call unto you. Through the silence, wake up. A curtain between life and death. Through an in-between state. From this world into the next. Cast my shadow so that I may wake you. Wake up! Wake up!
It was a decision made, and the deal was sealed. We once agreed, and now it is concrete. You were such a sad little girl. You sad inside little girl. You fought hard, and this fire burns bright. But all you've done to end all you've become is falling so far, falling far, falling so far below the earth. Tomorrow, a new center, a new point of reference.
As I count down from 5, at each number, you will feel more and more at ease. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Stella. The original document has been reworked.
I can see that. It feels foreign. Very dissonant, like a rogue group, or maybe some private contractor entity, working outside the parameters. Something in the shadows, hiding from the light, but swaying back and forth. I can see a charcoal building against a blue nocturnal sky, a backdrop of electricity. Blurred lights pulse like a heartbeat. It is time to burn the past. We are hidden, but there is an outside intelligence that senses us clearly. It puts us in a precarious position, the possibility of being seen, not just in our location, but also in places non-local. They know this is not normal. They see increasingly weird and unusual things. There's always some clever spin, but this is an event that can be felt all over the known world.
I wish to say something to you, clear, tangible. The voice in your head is involuntary, conditioned, complete identification, a storyline, and not a very good one, an unconscious state of living in this world. You are just a conditioned entity, like an actor who has learned the script, trapped in a cage to prevent your reanimation. Our phones and laptops, tracking devices, constantly emitting signals that map our every move. Something is monitoring our location, scanning, logging, networks. She began to rise and levitate, the signal strength of these connections. Corrupted cell towers, mobile phone blackout, a diamond dog collar, a black leather glove pulls the leash. Yachts float outside coastal cities. A black stingray streams through the undercurrent of green ocean water. Run wild beneath the city, through the tunnels. Being, object, organism, creature, thing, body, individual, unit, substance, existence.
Stella, it appears you've been under significant stress lately. Your decision to stop taking your anxiety and antipsychotic medications without medical supervision was unwise. According to your file, you underwent psychotherapy for dissociative identity disorder from age 14 to 24. Is that accurate? Why did you end your treatment?
Well, at the time, it was referred to as multiple personality disorder, which in my opinion is a more correct way of describing it.
I see. Could you explain why you think that?
To be honest, if I had to classify it, I would say it felt more like a form of possession.
Possession. That is interesting. Please go on.
I felt more like an observer, as if a different spirit could inhabit my mind and direct my actions at any time, controlling my speech and movement. I felt aware but unable to do anything about it, like a prisoner in my own body.
So why did you stop going to therapy?
I felt my situation was resolved. Through regression therapy and hypnosis, we were able to uncover suppressed childhood traumas that were the cause of my issues.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying and sharing your history with me. Now, do you recall being admitted to this clinic or the events leading up to it?
No, I do not. I remember a nice guy I met named Sid, having a drink with him at a small club just outside of the city on Route 40. I also have flashes, a damp basement, an unfinished concrete floor, someone named Hugo. Very cold and very disturbing. A strong sense of fear. But that seems like a really long time ago, almost like an impression. It could have been nothing more than a dream.
So do you think these memories are of actual events? Or do you think they are a type of false memory?
I know from my prior therapy sessions that when a strong emotion is connected to a visual idea or fantasy, the scene can feel extremely real.
Yes. They are like shadows with hidden signals attached to them. They represent ideas and concepts. Even though they can feel extremely real, like a memory, often they are symbolic or a placeholder for a memory too difficult to live with.
So what happened? Where was I? And what was I doing before being admitted? I have never experienced a blackout of memory like this before.
The officers found you at a Super 8 motel outside, partially undressed and sitting at the bottom of a telephone booth. You had checked in earlier that evening and paid in full. The desk clerk confirmed your identity from the police photo. There was surveillance footage of the parking lot. You were talking out loud and very agitated. There did not seem to be anyone else present. You wandered out into traffic, weaving through passing cars, and then went to the phone booth. You picked up the phone but did not make a paid call. You stood there just holding the phone to your ear. Do you remember any of this?
I don't know what to say. I am having a difficult time believing you. I have no recollection of any of this or anything you are saying. I would really like to speak to my husband. Can you please contact Alex and let him know I am okay and that I need to speak to him?
I spoke with Stella, our new patient. She remembers very little, and I think it would be best to keep it that way. I've prescribed some medications to keep her under control. Make sure to monitor her closely and inform me immediately if she starts acting erratic or if any recent memories or changes in behavior begin to emerge.
It's